The Mystara project is proud to present Part 16 of the Lore of Mystara series. In this video we shall cover the period from BC 970 to BC 901, covering the continued struggles of the Hin. In BC 970, the Orc king, Othrong, ruler of his eponymous realm, died during an orgy of overeating at Castle Bone. He was succeeded by his son, Rorg. As the 20-foot-tall Rorg was too large to ride a horse, he decreed that no orc shall ride, when he could not. Deprived of speed, the orcish army was now at a disadvantage against the fleet-footed Hin, who gained control of the eastern portion of the realm. Caldmont BC 965 saw the onset of a harsh winter in the realm of Rorg. The roads were snowed over, and the orcs forced a lot of Hin to their deaths from the cold and monster attacks, in an attempt to feed the orcs. Eventually, Rorg was forced to leave Castle Bone to retrieve supplies. While the younger Hin raced to the orc hold of Hinskulls, the old Hin tried to delay Rorg's force by offering battle. Rorg's force pushed ahead and came to battle with the Hin at Hinskulls. The fighting lasted for days and the orcs pushed the Hin further east. But the Hin destroyed the orcs, including Rorg, through sheer numbers and determination, at the Battle of Orcfall. As the harsh winter progressed into Newmont and Vatamont of BC 964, news of Rorg's fall had not spread throughout Hinhome, due to the awful weather. As a result, the Hin only attacked a few orcish holdings during these months. With the coming of spring in BC 964, the roads cleared and word spread throughout Hinhome that Rorg had fallen. This precipitated the spring slaughter, where Hin attacked the orcish holds and orcish reinforcements coming from the Black Spires. The orcs were defeated, and Castle Bone was razed by many Hin heroes. The heroes met and decided to build a council hall on the site of the ruins of Castle Bone. They established the realm of Hinden, meaning land of the halflings, and gathered experienced survivors to govern as a council of elders. The victorious young Hin continued to ride throughout Hinden, slaying straggling orcs and Tralda bandits, and became known as the Fangs. Between BC 964 and BC 938, Hinden grew and prospered. The elders of Hinden tended to spend more time in lengthy debates about trivial matters than governing the realm. But this did not concern the Hin, who were enjoying their new freedom. The Hin established trade with the Tralda, Eastwinders, and Nithians. Foreign ships arrived with cloth, ponies, cattle, and beer in exchange for foodstuffs, metals, and rare woods. Nithia in particular sought timber, which had become scarce on the Tel Akbir Peninsula. Hin ventured into the Black Spires and discovered rich mineral deposits of iron, copper, silver, and gold. Hin population, wealth, pride, and culture increased. However, once the last of the gnolls left the Tralda lands, there was no barrier to raiding the Hin. Tralda bandits and orcs raided Hinden, as word spread of a rich land of farms and mines only protected by little people. Orc raids from the Black Spires became almost continuous, causing many casualties. Hin smithies were small-scale and were unable to adequately equip Hin warriors to fight large-scale battles. So it was no great surprise in the spring of BC 938 that the Orc chief Gower and his forces poured down from the Black Spires and burnt down the Elder Hall, ending the realm of Hinden. Dwarfs had also journeyed to Hinden from Dengar, after hearing tales of its mines and sampling its mineral output. Some of the less scrupulous dwarfs took note of the Hin's inability to defend against the orcs. The fall of Hinden to Chief Gower's orcs commenced a violent period of war bands of marauding orcs, lawless Tralda, and greedy dwarfs roaming the land, fighting each other. For the Hin, this lawless period was known as the Dark Years. Those who did not hide underground or in deep woods perished. Ironically, the weather was particularly conducive for agriculture in this period, but the land was unsafe to farm. By BC 936, the roaming war bands of orcs and dwarfs had grown into armies, reinforced from their respective homelands, with the intention of conquest. In contrast, the Tralda were only interested in looting. The first major dwarf-orc engagement occurred in BC 936, at the Battle of Bloody Sands. The orcs narrowly prevailed. In BC 932, the orcs and dwarfs fought the Battle of Fireaxe Field, which was a decisive dwarven victory, as they trapped and burned alive many enemies. During a raw blizzard in Caldmont BC 930, the dwarfs led by Lochtal Ironshield slew the two main rival orc chiefs, Gower and Hurag, and defeated their armies at the Battle of the Hill of Cold Teeth. By the spring of BC 929, the Dwarven and Orcish armies were exhausted. The dwarfs held most of the forests. Lochtal named the realm the Kingdom of the Glittering Land, due to the numerous gems the dwarfs had found in the rivers. Lochtal crowned himself king. He shrewdly stressed to his warriors that they must be vigilant in this hostile land, and any non-dwarfs were their enemies. Captured Hin were enslaved and put to work mining. Toiling under heavy dwarven guard, they soon tunneled deep into the Black Spires, meeting many orcs and fearsome monsters of the inner caverns. King Lochtal diverted all available dwarven and Hin subjects to mining. Agriculture was neglected, causing abandoned farms to be overgrown, and food to be imported from neighboring lands like the Streel Plain. Vegetation was only cleared to keep the roads open for dwarven armies and mineral caravans. The dwarfs ignored the plentiful wild animals of the land. The Hin became very skilled at hunting this game for food. From BC 925 to BC 912, the dwarfs of the Glittering Land were hard-pressed by Tralda and Orcish raids, attracted by the dwarfs' wealth. By BC 915, the dwarfs were embattled against the orcs in full-scale war. The Hin stayed hidden, or mined in the Black Spires. In the spring of BC 912, gnolls migrated to the western Kruth lowlands. King Lochtal led his battle-weary dwarfs into the Black Spires, surprising and routing a gathering horde of orcs at the Battle of Brokenfang Falls. Thousands of orcs were pushed from a precipice in the fray when the dwarfs charged them. This sight gave rise to the laconic Hin expression, "until it rains orcs again," and won Lochtal enough time to rush his dwarfs northeast to meet the gnolls. There Lochtal found only a few scattered gnollish bands and destroyed them easily. He had more trouble with another gathering of orcs, but finally cornered and defeated them at the Battle of Three Shields. Whilst Ironshield was busy in the north, the Hin staged their second uprising and attacked Ironshield's force as it returned south after the Battle of Three Shields. Dwarven losses were significant. When Ironshield's force had dwindled to 400, he decided to abandon the Glittering Land and marched north, crossing the Black Spires. Circa 1,000 dwarfs were left behind throughout the Glittering Land. The abandoned dwarfs headed north, but few survived the Hin attacks to escape the Glittering Land. With the withdrawal of the dwarfs, orcs came down from the Black Spires, but were soundly defeated by the Hin in the forests. Hin army commanders established themselves as lords, forming a council of lords to rule the land they now called Sherden, meaning homeland. An elder, Mother Jatha Many-Toes, was appointed to chair the council. Each lord had a vote on the council, the elder chair did not. Between BC 912 and BC 811, Sherden grew and prospered under the ruthless rule of the Council of Lords. Few Hin rebelled because the lords did all in the name of Hin self-rule and strengthening the land so that Hin might never be conquered again. Their armies grew in strength as the Hin grew in numbers. New farms were established, and clans recovered wealth and pride as Hin worked harder than ever. Orc raiders were repelled, but told to return peacefully with goods to trade. Yalaren were told to learn all they could of far lands and magic to help the Hin grow wiser and stronger. Invaders were repelled and after a while they stopped trying. Sherden grew increasingly wealthy, the land tamed by busy Hin who worked its woods, fields, and deeper mines. Hin armies patrolled the borders, and after pirates began to seriously harm shipping, Hin began to build small wallowing ships to patrol the coast. Sherden grew rich, with a well-fed populace and secure borders. This concludes Part 16 of the Law of Mystara series, covering the continuing struggles of the Hin from BC 970 to BC 901.